Welcome to Monaco, the jewel in Formula One's crown.
And welcome once again to F1 Special.
Coming up on today's show, we take a special trip round the circuit with Monaco resident and new Formula One sensation Alexander Wurz. And from Romford to the Riviera, Johnny Herbert tells us how he spends his free time here in Monte Carlo. Plus, we paid a special visit to an exclusive Monaco address, another Formula One driver's home. There's also a chance to win the trip of a lifetime, a VIP day out at the British Grand Prix and the World Cup final on the same day. And all the news from today's qualifying.
Along with the Indianapolis 500 and the Le Mans 24 Hours, Monaco stands out as a motor race. It's got everything: history, excitement, glamour and drama. As a racetrack, well, it's one of the mentally toughest of the season. As an event, it's simply unbeatable. What a lot of people don't realise about this place is the size, or the lack of it. So much in under a square mile. But it's great for the spectators. They're closer to the action than anywhere else. But for the teams, it's a logistical nightmare. It's the narrowest pit lane in Formula One. Step outside this line as the cars leave the garages and you'll get a broken leg. In fact, you can't really call them garages, more like lockups. And even then, they're full of equipment, no room for a racing car in there. Worse still, the paddock is several hundred metres from this pit lane. Forget something and you've got a long walk. A few minutes after qualifying, this racetrack becomes a regular street again, full of cars leaving all kinds of dirt and debris. In fact, I'm standing in a bus lane. Two more hazards here. One are the manhole covers. They have to weld them down to prevent the aerodynamics of the Formula One cars sucking them up. Also, here's a zebra crossing. These white painted lines all around the racetrack are very, very slippery, especially when it rains. Over half this circuit runs alongside the harbour and the sea. In fact, it's incredibly close. Over the years, two drivers have actually made it into the drink: Alberto Ascari and Paul Hawkins. The last time was over 30 years ago, but they still insist on moving these boats away by 30 feet when the cars are on the track, just in case. If you're lucky, you may end up with a view like this, overlooking the first corner at Saint-Devote, scene of many a dramatic incident. You may have to remortgage the house, but hey, you only live once.
Well, there's a bit of background on the Monaco Grand Prix. But now, let's get right up to date and find out what happened in this afternoon's all-important qualifying. Here's James Allen.
The glitterati were all out in force. Prince Albert of Monaco. Sly Stallone gets all artistic. And Captain Niki Lauda drops in. Qualifying was always going to be critical, and the McLarens set the early pace. David Coulthard edging out Mika Hakkinen with just 20 minutes gone. Michael Schumacher had done just one lap in the morning practice after a drive shaft failure. He was forced to use the spare car, but it didn't slow him down much.
That's incredible. 21.6, that's absolutely incredible from Michael Schumacher.
But there was a new contender for pole, Giancarlo Fisichella. Fastest in the morning practice, he followed through in the afternoon in spectacular style.
Collected it up, no problem, total confidence, just buried his foot again.
As if Ferrari didn't have enough problems, Eddie Irvine biffed the wall in a big way at Ras Kass, forcing the mechanics to convert Michael Schumacher's repaired race car to Irvine's settings. In the meantime, David Coulthard retook pole from Häkkinen as the magic 1 minute 20-second barrier drew close. Mika Salo had been on fire all weekend, pushing the arrows up to unheard-of heights. Third in the morning, the gearbox problem meant he couldn't do better than 8th in the afternoon. Up front, though, the other Mika was on the attack, looking for his 4th pole of the season.
Fastest in the first sector, fastest in the second sector. 0.3 of a second faster than David Coulthard.
In contrast, Ricardo Rosset was heading for his 2nd consecutive non-qualification, but he did find a solution to Monaco's notorious parking problem.
A lot of people here are really debating whether Ricardo Rosset is Formula One material.
Well, it's a fairly short debate, Murray.
Heinz-Harald Frentzen gave Williams something to smile about with 5th place, but Jacques Villeneuve had a total nightmare. His best lap ruined by Rosset's spin, he ended up 13th, his worst ever Formula One qualifying position. Also enduring the weekend from hell, Damon Hill. Both Jordans way off the pace, Damon down in 15th.
Looks like he's out of the Arrows frying pan in 1997 into the Jordan fire of 1998.
But joy for McLaren. Häkkinen's pole is 1.5 seconds slower than last year, but it's close. 1 second separates the top 5. Coulthard once again on the front row, ahead of Fisichella and Michael Schumacher. Alexander Wurz was 6th, and Johnny Herbert a very creditable 9th.
It feels great, really unbelievable. I tell you, I'm so glad. I'm really happy, and after the event, the session finished, I was driving around the track, coming back to pitch, and I was nearly screaming on the radio, asking the team, what's the final result?
I've started every race this year on the front row, and pole position definitely gives you an advantage because you have a few metres over the second guy. But if I just react well to the lights, then maybe I can beat Mika to the first corner.
I want to get on the podium. I know it's very difficult, especially to win a race, but there is a good possibility.
Well, we did the first time really this year testing last week, and it helped. We worked on the traction a lot, and it works here, and just learned a lot more about the car. And bigger thing is there's no straight line here.
Every driver likes to be ahead of their teammate, but I'd much rather be on pole position and Ralph second, and both of us going into the race with a chance of winning, you know, than being 14th and 15th or wherever we are.
All action as ever in the qualifying session for tomorrow's Monaco Grand Prix. And coming up after the break, your opportunity to win the prize of a lifetime, and we'll be catching up with some of Monaco's famous Formula One.
Alexander Wurz, who makes his home here in Monaco, is undoubtedly one of the stars of the future in Formula One. Believe it or not, the young Austrian is already a European champion on 2 wheels with considerably less horsepower. James Allen explains.
Currently 5th in the World Championship in his first full season, Alex Wurz is a young man in a hurry. And with rumours flying around that Ferrari are after him, he's also a man in demand. This year he's outperformed teammate Giancarlo Fisichella, and on 2 wheels he can outperform anybody. Which one is the down gear on here? I need a lower gear.
Right?
Yeah.
Bottom. I made this hill today already 5 times. Once I drove to the bank because I had to pay a bill. And I did 4 laps in the morning with the bike.
So how many laps have you done the circuit? 5?
5, yeah.
Whoa. I've done half of one and I'm exhausted. Oh, God.
Nice car.
F50,
yeah.
F40.
Do all the Ferrari drivers really get the Ferrari if they sign the contract?
I don't know. Alex, policeman. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Si je vous dis non une fois, c'est pas fait pour continuer, qu'on soit bien d'accord. Là-bas, vous avez un joli panneau qui vous dit non aux 2 roues. Alors, vous retournez là-bas. Vous faites quoi, là?
C'est Alex Wurz, pilote Formule 1.
D'accord. Vous avez une carte. Voilà. Alors, vous la mettez là.
Voilà.
OK. Et comme ça, vous pouvez y aller.
OK.
D'accord?
Merci.
Et bonne chance. Hein.
Et je suis désolé.
Merci. Okay, very friendly police.
It's amazing to me how they, when you come out of Casino Square here, look at the manhole covers, and then there's a big bump.
Oh, it's no problem.
But you have to react very quickly around this circuit, presumably.
Oh yeah, and it happens so fast, especially at the beginning. But after a few laps, you got a rhythm. It makes you addicted to the circuit. And
Really?
It's so brilliant. I tell you, it's.
What does it feel like?
I want to explain it to you. I'm looking forward, but you have to get the feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, just 22 people in the world are allowed or are able to have the feeling.
Yeah.
But it's just
And you're one of them?
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I'm missing gear. Should not happen in racing. It's okay now.
It's amazingly dark here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the lights went out.
But during when we're driving, they have lights on, so it's not a big problem.
The other thing you don't realise when you watch this race on television is how big a corner the tunnel is. It looks, because the camera's on the outside, it looks as though it's almost straight, but in fact we've gone through a big corner here.
It's a proper corner, but with the groove tyres you miss just a little bit of grip. And in this corner, which is really a tough corner, it'll be interesting who is taking it flat.
So tell me something, when you were a kid growing up in Austria, I mean, was this your dream to become a Formula One driver, to race at Monaco?
I find it quite strange to drive here because if you see this, it's not a Formula One circuit like it should be from the regulation point, but it's history and it's part of Formula One, so that's why we are racing here. And but it's good in the end because we need historical places like this also in Formula One.
If you're a Grand Prix driver, the place to live is Monaco for all sorts of reasons. It's a tax haven for one thing. Another is that the heliport for Nice Airport and the world is just there. But if you live in Monaco, the thing to do is to live as high as you possibly can. In the building behind me, Johnny Herbert lives. But the man that I'm going to see lives higher than he does and all the rest of them because he is a very high roller indeed. Hi.
Hello, Mary. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. And it's Pedro Diniz, of course, the man who drives for Arrows. And he's just moved into an absolutely stunning apartment here at Monte Carlo.
I moved here like 3 months ago, and I'm really feeling at home here. Unfortunately, I cannot spend much time here. We're always testing and racing, and I don't spend much time here. But it's very nice. I feel really at home here. It's good to live in a place with this view.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we're in a Formula One racing driver's home. I would expect to see a lot of Pedro Diniz memorabilia. Have you got things around the apartment?
Yeah, I have some things. I have like this small helmet here that they gave to me. It's exactly the same than my helmet. Even the materials that they made the thing, it's the same materials that they make the crash helmet.
What else have you got?
Last year's race car.
Last year's Arrows?
Last year's Arrows.
In the blue and white livery?
The same that Damon drove. And it's a car that I like it, and so I keep this one too.
Can I see the rest of your home?
Yeah. Of course, Formula One racing driver needs to keep fit, so I have some gym equipment in here. I have this painting that a friend of mine did for me. That is, I like it.
What's this lump on the floor here?
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. This is for do neck exercise. That is pretty important for us.
Neck exercise?
Yeah.
So how...
Be careful, but it's pretty heavy.
Wow! So how do you exercise your neck?
Well, with this exercise, can show you.
Yeah?
Yeah, exercise like this. Let me see. Don't break this microphone. You put like this.
That is incredible, because it weighs an enormous amount.
And you can, I stay like 30 seconds like this, and to one side to the other, like 20 times.
My, that's fantastic.
And it's pretty good, it works pretty well.
Well, if it's good enough for you, Pedro, it's good enough for me. Let's give my neck a going over.
So, hold your neck.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
May I leave?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
That is very, very, wow, that is very heavy. Thank you very much. Well, you've certainly got it made, Pedro. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. You've only got to lift your head and you get this absolutely stunning view, because there is the Mediterranean, there is Cap Ferrat, yachts down there, the swimming pool that's being built, and here, now this is something very special, a special table. This is a wheel from one of your cars?
Yeah, this is a wheel of my Ligier from 95. So I have this idea to do this table, and it looks nice. It's a good souvenir too.
Pedro, thanks very much. It's been great being here. Thanks.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you here, Warren.
Thank you.
Now here's a chance for you to experience the trip of a lifetime. Both the RAC British Grand Prix and the World Cup final both happen on the same day, the 12th of July. A massive sporting occasion that you can be part of. Here's Murray.
A helicopter ride to Silverstone kicks off one of the finest prizes in sport. First up, 2 VIP tickets, including a champagne reception at the RAC British Grand Prix. Then by helicopter to Oxford Airport for a waiting private jet to take you and your lucky companion to the World Cup final at the Stade de France in Paris. So, question 1 was, who missed the decisive penalty kick in the 1994 final? Was it Paolo Maldini, Roberto Baggio or Nicola Berti? The second question was, who's the only player to have scored in every match of the final stages of a World Cup? Was it Jeff Hurst, Gerd Müller or Jarzinho? And now today's question. How many times has Damon Hill won the British Grand Prix? Is it 1, 2 or 3? Did Damon Hill win the British Grand Prix once, twice or 3 times? The fourth question will appear in the next Grand Prix programme from Canada in 2 weeks' time, along with the telephone number to call. You'll find full details on teletext page 127. Good luck. It's a long way from Romford to Monaco, but Britain's Johnny Herbert lives here now. Unlike a lot of the locals, though, he leads a fairly quiet life. Louise Goodman found out about it.
Monaco has all sorts of treats on offer, but when Johnny Herbert gets home, his biggest luxury is spending time with his daughters, Chloe and Amelia. A favourite outing for the family, who moved out from England 2 years ago, is donkey riding in the local park.
How old were the girls when you moved down here?
Well, they're eight and 5 now, so they were 2 years younger.
Ago.
So they were.
Do you go to school?
Yeah, there's a Stars and Bars in the paddock, and they're actually above that.
No.
The school's above there. So.
Rowdy's Bar.
Exactly.
In Monaco. That's where the local school is.
Oh yeah. So Stars and Bars is the frequent place to visit for us. The kids love it there. So
yeah.
We're always there.
It must be very difficult trying to bring up a family away from home, basically.
It is, but then the whole thing, one of the decisions of coming here was the obvious reason.
Yeah.
Obviously,
what would that be,
the tax. You've heard of that one?
One that no one ever mentions until the weather, the food's good.
Exactly.
Oh, and the tax.
I've done it wrong then. No, so obviously it was that reason. But the other reason of coming here, because there was obviously a choice of Ireland or Jersey.
Yeah.
But here, one, yes, there was the weather aspect as well, because it's pretty miserable in Jersey sometimes.
Yeah.
Then the other thing was, it's bringing the girls to another culture, another language, which they can learn as well.
It is said that when you have a child, it affects your driving.
Yeah, so I heard that. I think it was Atlanta the last time I heard about that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. I think the family thing, it almost gives you an incentive to do better, because you want to try and look after them, you know, for their education in the future.
Yeah.
So I would say it's really the other way around. The thing of saying, oh, you've got the kids and you don't want to hurt yourself or even kill yourself. I think you would see it in the performances that they would just go way off, and then if they went way off, you wouldn't have a job for the following year anyway.
What do they think about it? Do they come to the races?
No, they're not really. They know what I do, but they don't actually really do. They don't really. No, they're not interested, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not interested. They'd rather ride a donkey or a horse than come and see me at a racetrack, which I completely understand.
The girls may not be avid race fans, but on the rare occasion that they do watch a Grand Prix, you can be sure that there's only one man they're rooting for.
Do you like the racing cars? Yeah?
Yes or no? Yes?
Well, that's good. Who's your favourite racing driver?
Is he good? Is he a good daddy as well?
Well, Johnny Herbert's going to be a bit busier tomorrow in the Monaco Grand Prix, starting 9th on the grid. But the important thing, Martin, is that both the McLarens are on the front row. Are they both going to get round the first corner?
Well, there's really only one line through the first corner here, and we've often seen a lot of incidents. Coulthard needs to keep the pressure on Hakkinen for the World Championship, of course. Both the drivers have about the same speed in the race, I believe.
Yeah, but it's going to be very difficult with both drivers in the same team. Is there going to be team orders?
I don't think so. They're out there to race, and Schumacher and Fisichella are going to keep them more than honest.
Well, assuming that Fisichella and Schumacher can stay with the McLarens, they surely won't be able to get past them.
Well, Michael can attack and he can put people off their guard. Fisichella, I think it'll be all he can do to do 78 laps around here without making a mistake.
Well, either way, it's going to be a very exciting and interesting 78-lap Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. You can watch it live on ITV at 12:50, but for now, let's see how Monaco looks from Giancarlo Fisichella's Benetton.